Music for our next honoree. The Pittsburgh Circle Track Club would like to induct into its Hall of Fame a driver who totaled 134 career feature wins. Born in Whoa, is that right? Holy cow, wow. Oh my, born to be a race car driver, racing 3 nights a week for much of his career, Ben Miley of Venetia, Pennsylvania, the Pink Panther, the driver of late model number 99, in addition to those 134 career feature victories, earned championships at the Motordrome Speedway in 1984, 1987, and 1988. Track championships at Pittsburgh's Pennsylvania Motor Speedway in 1984, 1987, 1989, 1991, and 1995. Track championships at the Lernerville Speedway in 1972, 1984, 1988, 1995, and 1996, as well as Summer Sizzler Series and Super Series championships. Ben Miley, of course, from a racing family, now also famous for promotion and ownership of Pittsburgh's Pennsylvania Motor Speedway. And with that, as Dave Oliveri and I talked earlier tonight, a very rare distinction, as brothers will now be joined in the Pittsburgh Circle Track Club Hall of Fame, as the late Red Miley of Miley Motorsports was inducted at this very event back in 2009. Just a quick little story about me. Me is one of my favorite subjects to talk about, incidentally. When I was about 7 years old, my parents bought me a plastic pedal-powered Camaro. You know, the kids that are much younger than I, you got the battery, you got the power wheels, you don't have to pedal. Well, I had to pedal my little plastic Camaro. And it happened to be red in color. And right after I got it for Christmas, I forced my dad to put mailbox address stickers number 99 on each door so that I could pedal around the driveway and be Ben Miley in my plastic Camaro. That's absolutely true. So now, fast forward to the present day, here I stand at the podium, and I get to shake hands with a 134-time feature winner on his way to the Pittsburgh Circle Track Club Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Miley.
Whose idea was that? I obviously have some things I got to cover, and I have a prepared speech, but I can guarantee you I may read most of it, but it does come from the heart. I put a lot of thought into this. It covers a long period of time, and I hope I do a good job for all the people that's helped me along the way. I did a little homework. I looked over the list of current inductees and find I have competed with over 20 of these drivers. I thought what a feature that would be when we were all in our prime to watch. Noting that just reinforces how truly honored I am to receive this award. I want to thank Bobby Neal. Where's Bobby at? Bobby. I want to thank Bobby Neal, who nominated me. I have a great deal of respect for Bobby, as he is one of those quiet guys that loves this sport, which is easily seen by his involvement in the Pittsburgh Circle Track Club and how he goes about his business at the tracks he works. I want to thank the Pittsburgh Circle Track Club Hall of Fame Board for confirming my nomination as well. Thank you, Bobby. I have a lot of people to thank with all the years that I've raced, and not near enough time to thank them all, but I must thank a few. First, my dad, who has passed, and I'm sure he would be here if he were alive today. My mom, my Uncle Jim, are both here tonight. They played an important part in the early days, supporting and encouraging us. They probably helped us more than I can remember, but I do remember one key turning point. It was our second year of racing, and we were moving into the claiming division at Heidelberg, which was a lot like what are sometimes called semi-late today or crate late models. We had a guy that worked at the gas station Red worked at. He built our first motor for us. Guess what happened? It blew up the first night we ran it. Anybody who races knows what a heartbreak that is. Understand, we were all still students working part-time jobs, and every dime we had was in that car. We took the motor back to Gates Machine Shop that had done the machine work for us. Tom Kennedy and Bob Scheffler worked there then. They would later become owners of Brocker's Speed Shop. My dad and my Uncle Jim paid for the machine work this time around, and Tom showed my brother Jerry, who was only 18 at the time, how to build our next motor. Had those two things not come together, I'm not sure how or when we would have got to race again. To this day, Uncle Jim is still my go-to guy when I need that extra hand at the racetrack. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Uncle Jim, for all your past and continued support. Next would be my brother Ed, who, as mentioned, was inducted into the Pittsburgh Circle Track Hall of Fame in 2009 after he had passed away. I think the only other brother combination to be in the Hall of Fame, if I've done my homework correct, and I saw a picture back there of this fellow as well, is Dick and Gus Linder.
Yes.
I'm very proud to be amongst that group. I never saw Dick race, but my dad talked about him often, and I've heard many stories about what a great race car driver he was, and I did see Gus Linder run a sprint car a lot. Red, who was 16, and me, the oldest of my brothers at 18 when we started racing, led the charge on having a race car, and in later years, the racetrack. Think about this. At age 16, he became my car owner. This was not just a title. He made it happen using business skills quite unusual for his age. He did everything he could to make sure I had a good ride from that day on in 1969 until he passed in 2007. In memory, I still carry his name on my car as the owner for that period of time. Next is my brother Jerry, who at 17 not only became my crew chief, but my engine builder, who not only has built all my cars, but all my motors, except that first one. It didn't go so well, huh, Jerry? He went on to work for Tom and Bob at Brocker's and is now the current owner of Brocker's Machine Shop. I have an amazing stat to throw out here. Thanks largely to him, I have never missed, I said never, missed an opening day at the tracks we ran, and very few races. So Mike, you know how many years that is now that you were being wise about my birthday? I doubt that I would ever been able to win a race, let alone championships, without him. Thanks a ton, Jerry. My brother Matt, who has played a major role in the success of our team. I have to laugh thinking about Matt. As when we talk about the old days, he's smiling already, I see him. He was only 12 years old, okay? And I say, did you really help us then? I mean, when he was 12, I'm 18, I don't hardly even know he exists, you know? And needless to say, though, what he could do involved into a really important role of maintenance and over the winter, getting our cars built and redone, especially doing the interiors and bodies, and becoming very knowledgeable on the chassis setup. Over the years, the knowledge gained was passed on to my nephews Matthew and Jared, who helped on the cars, and proud to see them carrying on at a high level with Jerry's help. Thanks, Matt. My sister Ty, obviously being the youngest, she wasn't in the picture at the beginning. You weren't, were you, Ty? I don't remember, okay? Okay. But certainly came to be one of my biggest supporters and fans and always willing to pitch in if we needed a few bucks in a race car kitty. Let me tell you, if you have her as a fan, you can do absolutely nothing wrong on the racetrack. Thanks, Ty, not just for all you do for the race team and the track, but being such a great sister. I need to thank Mike Harris, who has devoted a lot of his time the last 2 years working on my car and making it possible for me to race while Jerry travels with Jared and Matthew. Thanks a ton, Mike. Starting at age 18 and doing this just as a hobby, I'd like to think I got a lot of early valuable lessons out of racing, other than the success on the track. I can't say they were all good, but nonetheless valuable. That has helped me, and as Chuck Noll used to say, my life's work. I'm most proud of the fact my brothers and I, as a team, stuck together through all the ups and downs and took something from absolutely nothing and made it not only successful enough to get this award tonight, but something that we've been able to pass on to Jared and Matthew. Last but far from least, thanks to my wife, who's in Florida spending time with Megan. I met her only 3 years into my racing, and she's had the flexibility to allow me to race as we both went through our careers and raised our 2 daughters, Megan and Sarah, who I'm very proud of, and even more proud of what they've become. Thanks for coming tonight, sweetie. I'll end by saying, when people ask my wife, who Dal Carnahan sarcastically calls the world's biggest race fan, how did you get into this for so long? And she quickly comments, I thought it was just a phase and he would grow out of it. It appears now that I will grow out of it very soon on age, but never, and I mean never, for the desire and passion I have to compete. Thanks and good night.